Hi there guys, welcome back. So, a massive story broken in English domestic rugby, the Saracens Scandal. They're guilty of breaking the salary cap. It's something that clubs had suspected, but now an independent inquiry has concluded that yes, they have broken the salary cap, even though Saracens have been insisting for a long time they've been doing nothing wrong. So I'm very interested to see what you guys think about this. It's too big a story not to talk about. But first of all, before we do, I'd just like to say, I think the players here should be left out of this, really. You could argue, a little bit they should know, but they're taking advice from the club that they trust, from people that they trust, and they've been told that this is okay. And I just don't think players like Maro, Itoje, etc. would deliberately do this if they knew it wasn't. Anyway, so that being said, let's get into it. From a rugby perspective, the fine of, 5.36 million is absolutely massive. But Nigel Ray, he can absorb that if he wants to. It's big, it's harsh, but that probably isn't the main issue for them. It's this 35-point deduction. That's a huge, unprecedented deduction from the league, but it wouldn't have relegated them for the past 4 seasons, so there's some questions that maybe it should have been more. But there's still certainly a threat of relegation. If that deduction knocks their team spirit, affects their motivation, etc., there's no reason why they couldn't be relegated, especially because I think the clubs that maybe traditionally have been seen as weaker, London Irish, etc., Bristol coming up, they are not as weak. They're quite strong now. So actually relegation may be a serious threat. Let me know what you think. The second issue is the Champions Cup. Now obviously they're in it this year, but if they just avoid relegation and don't make top 6, which is very possible, they won't get it next year unless they won the Champions Cup. But it's very hard for them to concentrate on doing that when if they got relegated it would be even worse. So I think they've just got to concentrate on the league, try somehow to get into the top 6, which I just can't really see, to be honest. And if they do well in the Champions Cup, so what? And then if they miss out on it for 1 year, I think that's the hit they might have to take. Stay up in the Premiership and not play in the Champions Cup may be the best they're going to get. Anyway, let me know what you think there. Okay. Like I said, there's others like Tony Rowe from Exeter, lots of players coming out saying it should have been harsher. It's not that they've been doing this for a while, for this season they've been doing it for a long time. Maybe they should be automatically relegated. Let me know if you think that's the case. But anyway, I want to come at this from a slightly different angle because it's been covered to death in the media. So I want to come up with a question I thought straight away that I haven't really heard discussed. So here's the context. Nigel Ray has been using this idea of investments for his players for a while now to boost their income. And, it's a clever idea, if you like. Players like the Vunipola brothers, Farrell, Itoje, etc., Wigglesworth, they've got investment accounts. They've been helped to invest in property and whatnot as a way to boost their life after rugby. Now, is it strictly on their salary? Well, no, Saracens are saying no, it's separate, but it's certainly a massive incentive for players to come to the club. So, they've come up with this idea to get round the salary cap. They don't want the salary cap, but it's there. They come up with this clever idea to come round with it. But it's been out for ages. People know about these investments. They're not secret companies. I've heard it reported on the BBC years ago. So, here's the big question for me. Why on earth didn't Saracens go to Premiership Rugby, be really transparent and say, this is what we're doing, we think it's fine, because they say they think it's fine, and get it legally cleared? Why on earth haven't they done that? I just don't get it. Because if it was approved, they have found a fantastic mechanism for attracting more good players and stay under the salary cap and play within the rules. Whether it was ethical or not, well, that's a different discussion. If it wasn't approved, well, at least they know. And they'll avoid this huge sanction and all this loss of image that they've got through this scandal. So why didn't they do it? That is the question that I want you guys to tell me what you think it is. Was it arrogance? Did they think they're untouchable, maybe? I don't know. Was it ignorance that they generally thought this was okay and they didn't think they'd get the sanction? Was it some sort of incompetent legal advice they got? Or was it the one they claim and they made an honest mistake and they really, really didn't think they weren't doing anything wrong year after year without checking. I just don't get it. Nigel Ray loves his club. Saracens do they do look after their players, so why have they deliberately put themselves in this position when they could have got together with Premiership Rugby, been open about this and saying, this is what we're doing. We don't want to get hit with big sanctions, big problems like this. And they didn't, and it's all exploded. So any ideas, let me know on that specific point. And until next time, I will see you later.